Hello and welcome back to the Emberclaw Clan of Paws Reach, and of course, to RimWorld. Where we last left off, all of our crops died due to a cold snap. We got our outer wall done, and Medic got the plague. So first things first, we are going to prioritize tending on Medic with Alarius here, because that seems to be important. Now, the first thing that I want to get done today is expanding our defenses, because I'm not that great at combat. We have short bows at the moment, which is probably a mistake, but yeah, we need better defenses. So the first thing that I want to do is take this palisade wall, extend it out by like 12 over here, leave a 2 gap, do the exact same thing back down here, so that our enemy combatants have to come in through this way. And then the next thing we're going to do is grab ourselves some wooden fences. I'm going to throw 3 right at the end there, and then all the way down 2 gaps. That is wrong. There should be 1 there and not there and there. That should be fine. And then I'll grab my combat, we'll grab wooden floor spikes because we really don't have that many other materials right now, and throw spikes all the way across there. And the last final piece of the puzzle is to go ahead and grab some sandbags so that our enemy combatants can't get through and use this as cover. They're going to be pushed out into the open here. That should be fine. I actually think I want to move all of this down one, so I'll be back in a little bit. All right, that should be much better. And the very final thing that I would like to do is grab myself 2 log walls and a door so that our colonists don't have to come out through this way, which will be very slow. They won't trigger the traps because they can walk over the fences, but that is the idea there. Now, we are going to have to do the same thing down here eventually, but this one is at least a little bit more protected because we have the water to slow everybody down. I would like this to be done as soon as humanly possible. And speaking of as soon as humanly possible, I'm actually going to switch researchers at the moment because this is almost done. We only have 90 points left. And I don't think it's been that long since we've done a research, and I really don't want to trigger a raid until, you know, we at least have some defenses in place. So I'm going to start working on the passive cooler. I'll keep an eye on that as we go. But with all that being said, I believe we can start unpausing the game and getting working on this construction. So we'll be back in a little bit. Looks like we didn't get time to prepare, but we do have a raid coming in from Wheels. They are coming in from this side, which is actually a little bit unfortunate. We have mostly melee weapons, it seems, so this might be okay. We can go ahead and set up on the other side of this river here. Yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. Okay, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. They are preparing for a little bit, so that's good at the very least. I think I would honestly love if we cut at least a little section here so that we have nice clean shots. None of these guys have ranged weaponry. They are standing very close to our borders though. Yeah, very close to our borders. If Dragon can get at least a little bit of this done, I'll probably recruit everyone a little bit early. Yeah, that's probably good enough. I'm going to draft everyone now because I'm scared. I missed the button. Draft everyone now and throw them all down here. Just come hang out, and then I'll figure out where I want you to be. Anders, of course, has forgotten his orders or decided to deliberately disobey me, which is what it is. And let's just have a quick look at our range on the shortbow. So these guys can definitely move back at least a little bit further. If we go somewhere like there, we're going to have Anders down the bottom there, so they hopefully start attacking him first. They're also Neanderthals, which is scary. So Neanderthals have robust, which means incoming damage is multiplied by 75%, which is bad for us. They're just reduced pain. These guys are going to take a little bit of work to get to go down, which is not great for us. But we are going to throw everyone on suppress just to hopefully get them to run away before they get too close to us. And I'm hoping they come in sort of in waves rather than all at once. We might have to try and run them around a little bit with Anders down here. This is honestly our first really quite scary raid. I'm going to even slow this down to half of normal speed so that I can, you know, micromanage this a little bit more than I normally would. Stingray is taking some damage, but we are missing a lot of our shots at the same time, like a lot of our shots. Thankfully, the first one is suppressed. Camber is also suppressed, which is good. Anders is going to have to go ahead and melee attack this guy. Hopefully we don't take too much friendly fire in the meantime. Thankfully, these guys are hiding right now, which is good for us. And yeah, we might be okay. Using the suppression mechanic is going to really help us out here for sure. Sorry, Rabbit, I didn't mean to hit you. Camber is still doing some damage. I'm also going to get Anders to melee attack this guy. Hopefully he doesn't take any friendly fire. We might also be able to turn on a combat command here, which will hopefully help out a little bit. Anders, continue to attack this guy. He's almost down. I think Anders just took something in the back. Yeah, a bruise to the back. Everyone's bunched up around Anders. I'm going to get Anders to run away a little bit. Hopefully get a little bit more of a line of sight on these guys. He's going to be slow because he is being attacked by literally everyone. But thankfully no one is attacking our archers at the moment, which is good. And I think we might be able to survive this. Just. Anders has 3 conditions that need tending. That's not too bad. Anders can now... Okay. They're fleeing, so I'm going to get Anders... Well, no. Anders, you stay out of the way, actually. You go there. And everyone should hopefully be able to get this guy to go down before he leaves. Not that we really need to, but, you know, you came into my camp. I want to take you out. Come on. So close. So close. Running for cover. Looks like we only have 1 shot. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Unless he bleeds out, but then we can't do anything with him anyway. So that was honestly a fantastic result. Anders took a little bit of damage, 3 bruises to the torso. I'm happy with that result. Let's have a look and see if anyone is worth imprisoning. So we have a psychopath, beautiful, and pre-industrial. That's not terrible, but you don't really have a lot of skills that I'm after. You are refined palette, which is okay. Brawler, so you're good at melee. You're also good at art and crafting, but we can actually never recruit you. So you would have to be a slave, which I don't really want to take. Are you worth it if we chase you down? You're an undergrounder, which I also don't really love. But it looks like that is everyone. So that's good at the very least. I am just going to quickly jump into my options here and change my settings on Camera Plus, because I set up a customization for this so that when we zoom out, the enemies are huge and we can absolutely see where they are. Are you... Yeah, you're running away. I don't know where you were going in the first place, but that's fine. So everyone is okay. I don't really think we need to take any of these guys in as prisoners, so we can just immediately undraft everybody. Anders should hopefully go to a bed. Medic will tend to them. There's no real danger there, so I'm not really going to micromanage that too much. And then we should be able to finish these defenses over here, hopefully before our next raid, and we can figure something else out for this side as well. I will go ahead and say normal speed now. Once they get far enough away, this should automatically speed up and we can get on with our day. Alright, we have officially finished the passive cooler, which I didn't honestly mean. I was just looking through my messages here to see when we completed our last one. It must have been at least 4 days ago. And I want to see if that comes up anywhere in here. It doesn't look like it does. I really just wanted to see when we completed our last research, and I don't know if there's a good way to find that. If anyone knows, that would be fantastic, because it didn't show up in my message log, even with messages on. So yeah, I guess that's not a thing. But that is fine. We now have passive coolers, which I will go ahead and build somewhat soon. It is currently 26 degrees outside. We can probably wait a little bit. I would, at the very least, like to get all of these to be auto-rearmed, and I do need to go ahead and expand my home zone to include that so that anything that gets destroyed out here will be immediately rebuilt. I'm going to figure something out for over here as well. And then we'll go ahead and get that built, and then we'll probably move on to building some cooling for our base. In the meantime, we do need to do more research. I'm going to get started on something. I don't know what yet. Yeah, I don't 100% know what. We have alchemy, beekeeping, crossbows and longbows. That requires the recurve bow. I might start on the recurve bow. I won't finish this. I'll switch this over to the complex furniture as soon as we have our defenses built over here, because at that point we should be able to handle the raid. So I'll design something over here and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, that should work pretty well. This area in here is going to be inaccessible, but I'm not too concerned about that. We can go ahead and throw a door up here somewhere. Just do the exact same thing, use the log walls right there and there, and grab a wooden door in there. All of our enemy combatants will be filtered through all of our traps and fences and come out on the other side. The next thing I want to do is probably set up some sort of defenses that our people can stand behind, but at the very least, this is going to help out a ton in the meantime. So I'll let them get that built and we'll come back at that point. All right, I was not paying attention to the research close enough, and we finished researching the recurve bow, which is good for our defenses, but it is going to mean we are getting another raid. I will go ahead and queue up. Well, I really do want to finish complex furniture. Let's just queue it up and say we'll deal with the raid as it comes. These guys are going to prepare for a while. Let's have a look at what we're dealing with. Looks like, again, it's mostly melee weapons, and we do have a lot of this already set up and ready to go. So they should at least go through 4 traps before they get to us. If we can finish this section, that will be fantastic, because then they'll have to go through even more. Why are they... Why... Anders, get out of there. Get out of there. Are they going to attack, draft, and run away? Anders, please. Why are you guys hanging out? Okay, you're hitting the traps, but you're not attacking Anders. I guess at this point we're going to have to draft everyone and just get them over here. I did not get an alert that they were going to start their attack, so that is not ideal. Anders, can you please just stay down here for a little bit? Out of harm's way. These guys are going to come in. Let's select everyone and get them to come back to this point. At the very least, that might be a little bit safer. Looks like Narwhal is healing up. Anders is just hanging out. These guys might just be still wandering, which is kind of wild that they wandered all through all my traps and didn't get aggroed. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to hang out down here, which is fine by me. Narwhal is one that we can probably just take out at this point. If we speed this up a little bit, we should be able to get that done, and then Anders can slip back in. Hopefully the rest of these guys don't all come over at once, but we should at the very least be able to take Narwhal out here and be in a much better spot. Yeah, they're all good. Anders, get back in here. Get back in here. I really didn't expect them all to wander through our defenses. Anders decided to stop doing things. That's fine. Everyone now can come down here because they've put themselves in a really terrible position where they have to cross all of this water to get back to us. So that's actually worked out fantastically. In the meantime, is Narwhal someone we want? They're a technophobe. They may randomly punch or attack mechanical devices and refuse to learn or research anything about them. They also love killing mechanoids. They have 15 plant skill, and they're good at melee, and they're a Neanderthal, which is going to help with their melee as well. They're also pretty decent at animals. I'm considering getting Medic to come up here, stabilize Narwhal. Medic will no longer be part of this fight, but I don't think we're going to need him. And then Medic can go ahead and capture this guy and go ahead and tend to his wounds, which I think is going to be the way to do this. So that's set. We can now undraft Medic and go capture you. These guys are now shooting at Galbo, who just wandered away from his group, which is nice to see. These guys really didn't plan this attack very well, but he is getting a couple of shots in here on a couple of our pawns. Lily, are you close enough to attack? I don't think so. Now you are. Toxic, move up. Ilarius and Greg move back a little bit. And Dragon, are you not quite close enough? Now you are. Toxic, come in the water. Anders, you stay where you are. And Toxic is out of ammo. Toxic's always running out of ammo. Okay. Toxic, how about you throw a torch at them? You need to move forward to be able to do that, but, you know, go ahead and throw a torch. I don't know if it's going to do much, but we don't really have anything else at our disposal right now. Do we have any great arrows up here? These are normal, 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 normal. Where did all of Toxic arrows go? I guess they're all down here, right? Well, that's unfortunate. Let us... That's such a far walk back. But I imagine there are some in here. Yeah, there they are. Alright, Toxic, you're going to run back here. You're going to be useless without them anyway, so go ahead and grab all of those, and then we'll bring you back. Medic is still wandering around. Lily is fine. How are we doing on arrows for these guys? You're out too, so you pick that up, pick that up, pick that up, pick that up. Ilarius has 6 arrows left. Greg has a bunch. Dragon has a bunch. Okay. We might be okay. I'm just going to say ignore, no slowdown at the moment. That way I can set the speed manually. Lily, go ahead and keep picking up these arrows. Get those in your inventory. Looks like Dragon is taking shots at Galbo again. I'm going to get everyone here to no longer do suppressed. Everyone aim, because we are running out of arrows quicker than I would like. Set everyone up in somewhat of a line here where they can, at the very least, reach this guy. If we grab... Do you guys... Who doesn't have their things equipped? Lily, equip your short bow. My goodness. And then you guys all come up a little bit further. Let's go like all the way to there. Just so that we can deal with this guy with the longbow. With the bow first. And then short bow, shoot. Take this guy out. He's bleeding out in like 0.2 hours, so I'm going to bring everyone back across the water. You have an axe and you have... Yeah, perfect. This should be fine. Toxic, how are you going? You're not there yet. Okay. This is the weirdest raid I think we've ever done. But it should work out. Anders has forgotten his orders again, but that's fine. We should be able to take these guys out without too many issues. Ilarius is coming a little bit too close to this guy. Ilarius doesn't have any arrows left. Perfect. Ilarius, in that case, you go ahead and run this way. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Do you have any arrows left? Of course you don't. Do you have any arrows left? Of course you don't. Anders, you're going to have to come up here and get this done, my friend. Greg, run away a little bit. And does anyone have anything useful here? I really didn't expect to run out of arrows so quickly. You're down. We're only dealing with these two now. Anders is doing a decent job. Lure is about to bleed out, so I'll start attacking the other guy. Greg can move back. Anders continue to do that. Oh, Greg still has arrows? I didn't know that. I don't know where you're going, but you should die. And you are bleeding out in 17 hours. Okay, can we at the very least get some more melee attacks on you? Okay, the other guy's down. And Greg is also down, which is not good for us. Dragon, come back. I don't like this plan anymore. And everyone just... Anders, focus on this guy. He's got 3 hours left in him. We should be able to get this done. We'll speed it up a little bit. I don't know where he's going. He's running for cover. Anders, just don't worry about him. He's bleeding out anyway. Lure... Well, we need to deal with Greg first. So, Ilarius, Greg is bleeding out in 6 hours. Okay, let's undraft everyone because that clearly wasn't the plan. That was the weirdest and most terrifying raid I think we've done so far. Ilarius, rescue Greg. Dragon is fine. You're fine. Anders is bleeding out in 17 hours. Okay, we should be okay. Anders, where are you going? Undraft. Stop trying to attack him. He's running away. He's healing up. Okay. Okay. We should be okay. What are you two doing? Why are you guys still drafted? Undraft. Undraft. My goodness. Alright. I think we're okay. Greg is sleeping and bleeding out. Ilarius is still drafted apparently, which is not what we want. Medic is still drafted, which is not what we want. Toxic is also still drafted, which is not what we want. Okay. Narwhal is okay for the moment. You are tending to Greg, which is good because you're better at it. Greg has 4 hours left. Medic should be able to deal with that. Ilarius, you are tending to Narwhal, which is fine. Anders needs to get back into the base so that we can deal with him. I think we're okay. That was a mess. That was a mess. We really need to start making some recurve bows so we've got a little bit more range to us. And the fact that they just wandered into my base is so wild. So wild. I guess my base is kind of huge. We also have an infection in Greg's leg. If we jump to that, let's have a look. You have an infection minor. Everything else is probably fine. Let's get medic. You are already tending to that. Perfect. And we have another raid coming in immediately after that. Wow. Okay, you have a sling, you have an axe, and you have a thrown tomahawk. The good news is there's only 3 of them, and we have a whole bunch of traps here, so they might just get taken out without any of our intervention. I hope. Anders, what are you doing? You're currently sleeping. Has everyone been tended? That is my question. Yeah, I think so. Let's just slow this down, make sure everyone here gets knocked out at the very least. You are fleeing. Perfect. We didn't even have to deal with them. All right. Are any of you good? You are kind and pre-industrial, which is fine. Nothing crazy. You're abrasive. No, I think we're just going to leave these guys here. We have bigger problems to deal with at the moment. So I'm going to let these guys all heal up. We'll finish all of this down here and we'll come back at that point. The good news, at least, is Medic gained another Psycast level, so we can go ahead and take Focus because we are going towards regrowing limbs, and that should be good. Manager jobs are not currently updating, which is fine. We don't really care about that. We have some minor break risks. Some medical treatment is required. Medic should be able to go ahead and do that. You're playing Hoopstone. That is less important than tending to Greg at the moment. And we have some deterioration on some herbal medicine that's laying around, but we don't really care about that right now. Everything is pretty much sorted at this point. We made it through again without losing anyone, which is honestly a little bit of a miracle. We will go ahead and cancel the short bow request, and we are going to throw in, if I can, make recurve bows instead. And I would like to do that, do until X, and do until we have 2. I would like to not count equipped. I would like them to be 51% or better. I would like them to be normal or better. And that should be good. And then we can go ahead and once a couple of those are made, we can go ahead and switch them over to all having recurve bows instead of short bows, which is going to make a huge difference. If we have a look at the difference here, the short bow has a range of 14. The recurve bow has a range of 22, which is going to be so much better. So I'll let them get started on that and we'll come back in a little bit. And we have officially converted Finch to our ideology, so we can go ahead and start recruiting them. This one here is down to 8.5, you're at 6, and you need to be switched over to our ideology. That is all going to be absolutely fine. They are slowly but surely getting this done down here as well. It's going okay. We need to replace these because I didn't set rearm, and I also didn't reset my home zone. Apparently this whole side of the base is not in my home zone, so I'll go ahead and fix that. I'm also going to expand my home zone on this side by about 2 tiles just to give us a little bit more of a fire break, because if our palisade walls catch fire, that is not going to be a good thing. So I'll get that done and we'll come back in a little bit. All right, that is all now included. This is slowly but surely coming together, and that should be a little bit better for our colony. Like I said, we have a mod that sets its own cleaning area, so we don't have to worry about them cleaning this entire zone. And the only thing that I didn't include was this ancient danger down here, because I really don't want them accidentally opening that up. And again, I wasn't paying attention to our research, but we do officially have complex furniture researched, which is going to be good. I'm going to start them working on complex workshops, I think, or we could potentially also go for crossbows. That would require smithing, which is down here. Yeah, let's start smithing. Why not? So we have these guys coming in. They're going to prepare for a while and then attack. They're coming from this direction. Thankfully, most of this is built. I will probably go ahead and hopefully these guys don't wander in this time. Thankfully, it is mostly melee weapons, but we do have a longbow in there. How is everyone doing for ammo? You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're okay. You are okay. You have none because you're melee. That's fine. And you're good. Okay. That's good to know. I'm going to get... Wow, who's our builder that's not hurt at the moment? If we sort by that, Anders is our builder. I feel like you're really slow at walking though. You have a stab scar on the brain, which is rough. But I am going to get you to prioritize working on at least these 4 traps. These guys are going to wander in again, aren't they? Okay, stop that. Hopefully just these guys all just go down, but I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to get everyone to go to our close zone, and we'll go ahead and expand that. Actually, no, that's probably fine. Everyone just stay close for the moment. We got 2 of these guys fell down, or actually, that was entirely unnecessary because these guys are already down. Perfect. Our defenses are working perfectly. Do we want any of these guys? You are a coward and gourmand. Yeah, not really. And you have recluse? Probably not. Clumsy, insatiable. Yeah, no, definitely not. So we're going to just leave those guys there. We'll slowly get these walls built up. That guy left. Absolutely fantastic. We are a little bit safer now, at the very least. How are we doing on recurve bows? We currently have 2 of 2. So let's go ahead and change these up. Get rid of all the force things on here. I'm going to go to my short bow loadout. I'm going to copy that and say recurve bow. And instead of having a short bow, you guys are going to have any recurve bow. That'll be fine. And 25 of any ammo for the recurve bow. Let's make that... Let's maybe make that 40, because you guys are terrible shots. That might help out a little bit better, more. And then we can go ahead and assign at least 2 of these guys, because I think that's all we have. If we have a look in here, we have, 2 recurve bows available at the moment, and then we'll get more crafted up, which should be good. So I'll go into my assign. Actually, no, I'll go into numbers, sort by shooting. So we want Dragon, Greg, and Alarius to have them first. So Dragon and Greg first. Dragon and Greg are going to have the recurve bow for the moment. And that will, at the very least, help out if anyone does get past our defenses. We also have a medical emergency on Greg, and that is infection. Okay, that is getting very, very close to being scary. So I'm going to go and get medic here and say, give Greg the word of immunity, which should hopefully help out with that and get him to a point where he is going to be fine. Yes, absolutely. That was close. I'm glad that I caught that when I did, because sometimes I just ignore medical emergencies because they tend to not be all that serious. But Greg's absolutely was, but he is going to be absolutely fine now. He can be tended in 3 hours, but he has immunity for that now, which is fantastic. All right, I'm going to let them run, get this finally all built out, and we should be a little bit safer. I'm a little bit concerned that people are wandering into our base though. Maybe we should figure out a different spot for this wall, shrink it back in like across this way, so they're less likely to wander into our base before they've even started our raid. I might do that after this is complete, and then we'll go from there. And Anders just finally put the finishing touches on this little trap setup. We're going to set all of those to auto rearm, and we now have a bunch more stuff that we can do. So we have the passive coolers, which I definitely want to get down sooner rather than later. Although, yeah, it's 34 degrees outside, so I think that's going to be worthwhile. But we also have complex furniture, which gives us a whole bunch of different stuff. Unfortunately, we can't build the archery targets and stuff just yet because we don't have a way to get hay. But we get normal chairs, we get chess tables, couches, actual beds, dressers, a whole bunch more recreation. But we also get a whole bunch of shelves, so we can finally organize this mess. Which is, I think, what I want to do first, after we get the passive coolers up and running. So let's go into temperature. This also gives us vents, which I am absolutely going to utilize. So I would like probably 2 passive coolers in here. I would like a passive cooler in each of the bedroom segments, and probably 1 down here, but I'm going to build some more bedrooms off this, so I might wait for that. I'll also throw 1 in our storage room because our people are in there a decent amount. And then I'm going to get wall-mounted vents. Now, I'm considering not worrying about the kitchen, the fridge for right now, but I think I will. Let's just go ahead and do it. So I'm going to throw vents all the way through this, so these 2 coolers should hopefully cool this entire thing. I'm going to throw vents in all of the bedrooms so that we can get airflow all the way through, so we only need the 1 passive cooler. This room is just 1 big room, and this one we don't care about yet. But we could go ahead and... Whoops, wrong button. We could go ahead and throw 1 in there, just in preparation for when we have those bedrooms up and running, which we should probably get started with, to be completely fair. This is going to be 5, like so, 6 by so, and 6 by so. And the reason that I want to get these up and running is because our prisoners are going to be ready very, very soon, and we definitely need somewhere for them to sleep. So that is going to be just like that. Do we have any unoccupied beds at the moment? We have 2, so we're going to be okay for the moment, but we'll get these up and running anyway. And then we're going to go for 3 wooden double beds facing the correct direction. We will again throw in the latrines in each of those, as well as our stalls, just like so, and our wall torch lamps on the end of these walls, which should hopefully help out quite a lot. And then we'll grab our floor, wooden floor, and throw that down as well. I'll get them started on that. They should work on the passive coolers and this building nice and quickly, and then we can go from there. All right, we officially have a new recruit. Lily asked Finch to join. Finch has accepted, and that is going to be absolutely fantastic. We now need to set up Finch with all of their things and go ahead and rename them. So as always, this is going to be a Golden Panda member. Let's just go to Finch here, go to his bio, and we will rename Finch to Ruben Moretta. Welcome to the clan. You are going to be nicknamed Ruben. Accept that, and that is going to be fantastic. I'll go ahead and fix up all of their work things and be back in a little bit. Now, Ruben here isn't actually all that good at anything, so I'm going to get him to be priority hauling and cleaning. After that, I am going to allow him to go ahead and do plant cutting first, and then help with harvesting and growing. He does have a passion for that, so that should go up nice and quickly, but we definitely needed someone to do hauling and cleaning because every so often all of our wall torches go low, and now that we have the passive coolers as well, I definitely want someone being able to do that. If he's done all of that, he can go ahead and butcher. I don't want him cooking just yet because his relevant skill is 3, and that's just not quite good enough for me. If we go ahead and look at the numbers, Ruben also is melee. If we have a look at you, were you the Neanderthal? No, you're not. Okay, but we will go ahead and assign him to be a melee pawn, which I think is going to be worthwhile. Can we build hatchets yet? Because that is what we're currently using. I don't think we can. Oh, yes, we can. We can make hatchets. So I want to do that until X, and I'm going to say we want 2. Currently we have 4, apparently. I would like to look everywhere. I want it to be 51% or above. I would like it to be normal, which apparently we did not have. And in terms of what we want it made out of, I probably want it to only be steel at this point. We could also make a hatchet out of stone, but I'm not 100% sure what the best choice is for that. Steel feels right, but I know that it's probably not, so please do let me know down in the comments below what we should be making our hatchets out of. But that should be good. We also need to set up things like backpacks and all that jazz now that we finally have cloth coming in. But I'm going to let them get this done first, make sure that Ruben has something decent, and he should also change his clothes pretty quickly to get rid of this ratty apparel. And with that being said, we've also finished smithing. What does that actually unlock for us? Does that unlock the thing that I just built? Or can we now upgrade our weapon? The short sword might be nice. That sounds like a good idea. And then we could go ahead and give them a shield as well. We can also make leather armor now, which is probably worth doing too. In terms of weapons though, I like the idea of having axes. Are axes good? I'm going to have a look through these for a little bit and figure out what we actually want to make, and then we'll go from there. I think I'm going to go for axes if I can. The only thing I'm questioning is whether or not that requires a different table to build. We can make a tribal axe there, so that is not the right way. Production, we have, a fueled smithy that we're going to have to build. Okay, so we'll leave it as the hatchets for right now, and we'll get that done in a little bit. Next thing is to go on to another choice in here. Now we could do complex clothing. That's not a terrible idea. But I would also like maybe great bows into longbows, or actually we can do longbows already. I'm thinking longbows into crossbows might be the best choice next. So I'm going to start that research, and that should be good. I'll let them finish this, and then I'm going to tackle the storage solutions that we currently have going on. Narwhal has officially been converted. That took me to medic for some reason. But that means we can now go ahead and start trying to recruit them as well, get them into the fold. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Ilarius is having a melee frenzy, which is fun. And I think we're somewhat stable at this point. We have enough things going around that we can be somewhat confident in our defenses. Everyone has recurve bows. I think it's going well. I think it's going very well. I'm going to continue on with this construction. Another new recruit. We have the person whose name I cannot pronounce, but that is absolutely fine because they are going to be renamed. Well, nope. I do not want to banish you. I would like to rename you, please. You are going to be Nanon 10, and your nickname is going to be Nanon. So that is fantastic. Welcome to the clan. You are going to be on cooking mostly. You also have a little bit of melee and shooting skill. I like to have more shooters than melee, so you'll probably end up with a recurve bow as well. So let's go ahead and get that assigned before I forget. You are going to grab a recurve bow. That should be fine. Your bulk is huge. What are you carrying, Ruben? Ruben, where are you? You currently have Steel Visage Mask, which isn't that heavy. I mean, it's 100 grams. Okay. The cloth parka is very heavy. You probably shouldn't be wearing that in the middle of summer. But, you know, it is what it is. And then just a whole bunch of arrows. For some reason, you have great arrows in your inventory. Why is that? Ruben, why do you have great arrows? If we go to assign, Ruben is currently on melee. Melee. You shouldn't have any arrows. Okay. Maybe you'll deal with that on your own. If we go ahead and rearm you, that might fix that problem. But in the meantime, we need to set up Nanan's work priorities. So you are going to get reset to the baseline for right now. And it looks like you are going to be mostly cooking. So you're going to butcher and cook. I'll throw butcher at a lower priority just so that we get the cooking done as fast as possible. And then you can also do art, but that's not going to be as relevant. I think in the meantime, I'm going to drop your priority on cleaning so that you get cleaning done before you do hauling. I like to have a mix of people who clean and people who haul, and that should be good to go. So we just have one prisoner left in here. They have already been converted to the path of ash and flame. Their resistance is currently 7.5, and that is the 9th member of our clan. Ooh, this is very exciting. Alarius here can now officially gain expertise because they have 15 skill in intellect because they've been doing so much research. And we get to choose between synthesizing, hacking, researching, and writing. For right now, I think our best choice is probably going to be researching, get that done nice and quickly, even though we do have the storyteller who despises progress. But I think that is going to be the best choice. That will give us a new skill, which will basically level up as they research and increase their research speed. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic. We also have a war merchant coming in. We'll make sure to check them. And looks like, why is Anders meditating? Why is Anders meditating at all? Also, I need to go ahead and reset the schedules of all of our new recruits as well. Yeah, Anders, I guess that's just recreation, but sure, that's fine with me. We can go ahead and give Medic another linking ritual, or we could start working on someone else. And I don't hate that idea. I'm tempted to give it to Ruben. Let me just open up Medic here for a second and have a look through the psycasts and see what I might like to get if I choose someone else. I'm tempted to get Wild Speaker. We are a tribe based pretty well around nature at the moment, and I think this would fit quite nicely without being too overpowered. So I'm going to jump into my numbers tab here. I'm going to grab skills and I'm going to say plants. And I think dragon is who I want to give this skill to. So I'm going to begin that linking ritual. This is going to take 2 hours out of everyone's day, which is currently sleeping time. So hopefully they're not too sad about that. But I also will say that this animatree linking is sponsored by me. Tonight, we raise our spirits and our glasses. Introducing the official Emberclaw Clan pint glass, forged in the sacred fires of the merch tab. It holds water, tea, or whatever strange stew Greg and Lily decided counts as food today. Stamped with our sacred mark, fire, claw, and all, this is the only way to hydrate with honor. Get yours today and join the ritual. Link in the description. From ember to claw to glass. And with that out of the way, our linking ritual is now complete. We'll go ahead and grab Dragon Loon here, and he is going to get Wild Speaker. Now, that is going to allow us to get a bramble maze, which infuses a fertile area with chaotic life energy, causing it to sprout shoots of brambles that wither after 12 hours. That is going to really help out with our defenses as well, and I think it's fitting that it is Dragon who gets that skill. Later on, we'll be able to do Crop Burst, which potentially will also allow us to unlock some new crops, because this infuses a fertile area with life energy, causing it to sprout plantable crops that finish growth in relation to the caster's psychic sensitivity. We can get Word of Animals, Tree Sprout, Manhunter Pulse, Shield Animals, Animal Allies, Shrine Shield, summon pack, and essence transfer, which are all going to be pretty cool things to deal with. So that is that for now. We'll let them get back to sleep. Actually, before we do that, we're going to send Lily off on a trading mission. We'll get that set up and ready to go. And I'll probably go through this, sell a whole bunch of stuff, and see what we might want to buy, but I'll come back in a little bit. And honestly, I don't think I really want to buy any of that, so I'm just going to basically be selling off all of my old stuff, including all of our short bows that we are no longer requiring. It's going to net us 113 silver, which will be absolutely fine. And as we say that, we have our first chance to try out that bramble field. The Wellers tribe are attacking immediately. If we jump to their location, we can see who we're dealing with here. I will just check on here to make sure that we are all good. They are all melee combatants, which is going to be okay. We are going to draft absolutely everyone. I believe everyone has weapons at the moment. Draft all of them and throw them down right in a line. Something like, if I can get them all to go there. One of them is going to be out of place, but that should be okay. We'll get them in. And who was it? Dragon. Where is Dragon? Dragon's not here yet. Of course you're not. Anders has, of course, forgotten what he's doing, which is the usual way things go. They are going to go over all of our traps that will be marked for re-thing. Dragon here is going to use Bramble Maze, and we're going to set that up right there so that our enemies are slowed. There we go. That should slow everyone down just a little bit. That is going to give walk speed 85%. I don't know 100% whether or not that's going to really help us all that much, but it's going to be something at the very least. And then everyone is ready and set to start shooting. We also can do a combat command to make this a little bit better. And we should hopefully be able to take these guys out nice and easily. Only 3 managed to make it through. They haven't made it to us. And you are running and you should be taken down in just a second here. Any minute. There we go. Perfect. And that is what I call a good raid. Nanan didn't even make it here. So we can go ahead and undraft absolutely everyone and check out whether or not we want any new prisoners. We can close this for the moment. You're a kleptomaniac. Delicate, probably not. Too smart and steadfast. Artistic, plants and construction, maybe. Maybe. You're also a Neanderthal, so you would be decent at melee. We have you. You are squeamish and not really good at much. Whale here is kind. Melee again, but unfortunately unwaveringly loyal. You are a pessimist, so you always have a negative mood modifier. That's not fantastic. And you are unwaveringly loyal as well. So I honestly don't think we want any of these guys. I'm going to allow everything and let them, you know, perish on their own. Is there any gear in here that we want to steal? You have pemmican, steel shiv, probably not. You have a cloth tribal backpack. Whale has some silver. That's probably worthwhile. Steel hatchet, steel shiv. Okay. Whale is probably the only one we actually care about, so I'm going to send Anders in to strip you, and that should be good to go. And as our trade caravan leaves, Dragon is now available to get some expertise. So I'm going to go into the bio and we are going to choose probably sowing, an expertise in quickly sowing and harvesting large amounts of plants. We could also do harvesting. That will get us a better yield, but I honestly would prefer speed over amount because we do have quite a lot of plants that need to be harvested. So I'm going to go for sowing on Dragon, and I think that should be good to go. I don't actually know what he's doing. Oh, he's harvesting a berry bush. Perfect. Now, just having a look at this ritual opportunity, the Pulse of the Clan is going to require... where is it? It's a drum party. So we need to go ahead and build some drums around either our campfire or in here. Now, we get a bonus for room impressiveness, but we also get a bonus for having a campfire. So for right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and just build these outside. In terms of the material, we have 173 cloth. but I might use light leather. We have a little bit more of that, and we're not really planning on using it for anything. So I'm going to throw down maybe something like... Let me cancel those. I'm going to throw one there, one there, one there, and one there, just so that we don't block this path too much. But that should get that ready to get this ritual done when it comes around. So I'll let them continue on. They have finished these bedrooms. They are still working on the vents, but everything is going smoothly so far. We have a mad boom rat. Boom bat, I should say. Hopefully it just goes over one of these traps here and kills itself. It probably will start a fire. Well, it didn't die. It's going to bleed out. I don't know if it bleeds out, it still causes an explosion, but I guess we'll see, because this is going to bleed out in 1 hour. Let's just keep an eye on that. It does. Our people should go over and put out that fire pretty quickly, and that is officially taken care of. That did unfortunately put a hole in our wall, but again, they'll take care of that because this is all technically inside our home zone. Unfortunately though, we have a raid coming in, and they are thankfully not attacking immediately. They do have bows and slings. Okay. We have, what's this, 6 of them? That's a little bit scary. We don't have many of our traps up here built yet. I might have to go ahead and say, prioritize building this stuff. Prioritize that first, prioritize that, and prioritize that. And we'll get Greg to do that, that, and that. Actually, I think I did that wrong. That, and that. Perfect. That should hopefully be a little bit done before they get here, which will thin their numbers down and hopefully make this raid just that little bit easier. Greg, you are... Okay, prioritize that more than anything. This is the important... And they're coming. Okay. Everyone get drafted. Everyone come right down here. They do have bows, so getting us behind some defenses is going to be an important thing. Dragon, I would like you to do the Bramble Maze again, please. We will throw that down right about there. Should be good. Everyone is coming in. Anders has, again, forgotten what he's doing. That just happens from time to time. We'll get you there. Toxic, come behind a tree. Greg, come behind a tree. Nanan, come behind a tree. Medic, behind a tree. Anders can stay behind this tree for now. Lily can go behind this tree. And this should hopefully be taken care of nice and quickly. I'm going to do snapshots, I think, just to get as many arrows out as I can. And hopefully suppress these guys. Yep, he's down already, and they are already fleeing. Perfect. Our defenses are working absolutely fantastically. Do we want any of these guys? Kind, great memory, maybe, but you're not really good at anything. Toad, physically hypersensitive. Again, no real skills there. Who else is down? Is it just the 2 that are down? Wow, and this guy who died, apparently? Alright, well, never mind then. Do you have anything I want? You have a recurve bow, that's not bad. Quiver, normal, maybe? Dragon, go ahead and strip them. Anders, go ahead and strip Toad. I don't really care what they have. And you have a steel shiv and some Psychite tea and some herbal medicine, actually, would be nice to have. So I'll get you to strip you as well. And that should be good. Toad is crawling away, but they're bleeding out very, very soon, so that should be absolutely fine. And we can just continue on with our day like nothing ever happened. Alright, with the last drum done, we now officially have Pulse of the Clan thing that we can do. So you can see we can do this in a room with a campfire, and we would get an extra 20% if we had the room impressiveness to get to that. But for right now, I'm just going to hold this outside. We have a 59% chance of it being fun, 20% chance of it being unforgettable. So let's get this going. Everyone get out your Emberclaw Clan pint glasses and celebrate the occasion as these guys celebrate and hopefully have a nice ritual here. I can't remember what the benefit of getting a good one of these is, We aren't going to find out because it was apparently terrible. Everyone gains -3 mood for 6 days. That is not because of the pint glasses, I might add. It is what it is. We did get a development point though, so that's something at the very, very least. All right, all of our construction is now officially complete, and I think it is the perfect opportunity to start working on some actual storage solutions. Now, in terms of how I want to design this, I'm not 100% sure yet. I think I will go away, lay this all out, and then we'll come back and figure out what we want to do. Alright, that should hopefully do us for now. We can always add more if we need to, and in saying that, I am going to do exactly that. Instead of having that one on the end, I'll do something like so and throw these there. So we are going to have a bunch of storage racks, some for textiles, some for weapons, some for clothes, a bunch of, what are these called? Containers, and a bunch of shelves. We also have a brand new recruit in Narwhal. They are going to be renamed as well. And this is going to be Sunset Puma. Welcome to the clan. I'm going to name you Puma. I hope you don't mind. Please do let me know if you want me to change that to something else. And how are you at things? You are plants. You're a technophobe. You're plants and animals and a little bit melee. You're also our Neanderthal, so I definitely want you to be our melee pawn. Hopefully nothing bad happens to you. So we have that set up. I'll go ahead and redo all of your priorities. It looks like you are definitely going to be our plant cutter more than anything else. So you are going to get a priority 3 on that. Actually, priority 2, priority 3, and priority 3. You can also do handling, so we'll do level 4 on that. You will not do hunting because you are melee, but you can do handling stuff. And that should be about good to go. And I'll leave you on 5 and 5 for hauling and cleaning, and we will make sure everything is assigned. Perfect. That should be fantastic. We now have 10 Golden Panda members in our clan. And we're actually running out of Golden Panda members to put in our clan. So if you would like to be a part of this clan, please do go ahead and join at the Golden Panda membership level or above. And I'll throw your name on the wheel and there's a chance you'll be in the clan. It's a pretty good chance too. So go ahead and do that if you are interested. But we're going to continue this running. I'm also going to go ahead and throw some storage into our fridge area. This isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be better than nothing. So we'll probably throw up a couple of meat hooks, things like that. We'll go ahead and grab an ailments shelf as well. This is fantastic. A small wooden cabinet that can be stocked with herbal remedies, tinctures, and basic medicinal tools. Items stored inside will never deteriorate and don't affect the beauty of their surroundings. So that is going to be really, really handy. I'm going to throw that directly next to a couple of meat hooks, which totally makes sense. That should probably be wooden, actually, and I don't know what I made these out of, so let me just redo that real quick. Throw 2 of them down there, meat hooks below that, and then for the rest of this, they're probably just going to be on these open shelves for the moment, and that should be absolutely fine and ready to go. So I'll come back in a little bit. All right, our storage room is already looking so much better. The only thing that I do want to do is have one of these dedicated to, unlike that, disallow all, and I want this to only be seeds, just so that I can find, you know, where they are once they're done. And then I can click on the rest of these and say, don't allow seeds in any of those. That would be fantastic. I also did not mean to haul those. They can stay where they are for the moment. And the next step is to go ahead and assign all of the shelves in my kitchen to be linked, storage, and say this can be all food. Medicine and drugs probably can go in there as well. And then, actually no, this shouldn't be meat. Don't put any meat on them because these are meat. So allow all, yeah, we can put corpses on them as well. That'll be fine. But don't allow anything rotten in these. And these should also probably be linked as well. And then as for these are going to be linked, storage. Do these just allow 1 stack? No, we can have 4 stacks in these, so that's great. And that should automatically put that as... Wow, we can actually put some meals in here, which is interesting. Not a ton, but some things. We can also use these to store some of our crops, which would mean they would never deteriorate. That is interesting to know, but feels a little bit cheaty, so I won't do that. Instead, I just want all of the medicine in here, and that'll be fine. Specifically the herbal medicine, because I don't want that ever going bad. And then we can go ahead and say, haul urgently, all of the things in here. They should throw that on shelves, and we'll probably need a few more shelves in here as well. So we'll get that set up just like so, should be fine, and go from there. And we've officially finished the longbow as well. Next up, I want to do the crossbow. Now, I don't 100% know where this needs to be built. It might need to be built on a smithing table, but I think that is going to be worthwhile getting, because if we have a look at the crossbow, a crossbow is a type of ranged weapon in similar principle to a bow, consisting of a bow like... You all know what a crossbow is, but this weapon attempt of early mankind can send a bolt even through the strongest metal, which is what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit of armor penetration to get through all these shields and all this armor that we are currently dealing with, but having this all nice and cleaned up is fantastic. I also would like to have the ambrosia and the psychite tea probably in my fridge area, so I will go ahead and add those. Every now and then we're going to find something that we can't throw in one of our storage things, and we can just go ahead and edit it at that point. But that gets rid of that warning. Everything is nicely cleaned up at this point, which is great to see, and these are going to now last forever, which is also fantastic. Next up, I want to do a little bit of work on the surroundings here. I would like to set up something where we can have a clean area and enough distance between us that we can deal with these people. So if we have a look at our apparel at the moment, recurve bow goes 22, and I feel like that's probably a decent range to aim for. So I'm going to grab my planning tool here. I'm going to come out 22 from there, and I think, I don't know, like 8 down, 8 up. That should give us 15. And then we'll build a wall like there and there-ish. I'll remove that middle plan because we no longer need that. And then in terms of what I actually want to have here, I would like to have log walls, probably something like this, and then go across just like so, and like that. And then in between all of those, I would like to have some sandbags, right? Just so that we can shoot over something, we can hide behind the walls if we need to, and that's going to be good. And then the last final step of this puzzle is I'm going to add a new area, and I'm going to call this clear. And we are going to expand this to cover this entire section plus a little bit. So I want this to come back 3 behind there, give us a little bit of space on the other sides, and then we can go into our manager tab here, go to our trees, say new job, clear areas, clear the clear area, and basically clear everything. Manage that, and that means once a day they will clear all of these things. We also need to go ahead and haul the things that are in here currently, because I don't want anyone to have any cover while they're in this area. That is probably going to mean expanding this, or alternatively going ahead and adding some pallets into this so that we have a little bit more storage space for our chunks, which I think is a generally good idea. So I'll let them do that, and then we'll come back in a little bit. I did the thing again. I forgot to disallow eggs in here. So we are going to come in here. We're going to search for egg. We are going to disallow fertilized eggs from being in our kitchen so that we don't have all of these damn ducks hatching in our fridge. Medic and Toxic are on top of it though. They're taking everyone up to here. And I think this is the next situation that I would like to deal with. I would like to expand this animal pen basically down to the top of this. So we'll have a path going across here, and then this entire top section of our base will be animal pen. The first thing I want to do to get that done is close off this little gap with some more palisade walls. So I'll get that all queued up, and then we'll come back. With that all set and pretty much already built, the next step is going to be running a fence right along here. So I am going to have to build some steel bridges to get this done. I'm going to just, for now, cut across my cotton field. This is probably almost harvestable. So I'm going to say stop sowing on that and just cut it down when it's ready. And then I'll also grab into my structure, grab myself some steel bridges, throw them across there so that we can throw some palisade walls on top of that. Now, in terms of where I want my doors, I would probably like one up here somewhere, and then I would also like one in line with my path here. So we'll do that, and we'll say log wall on either side, please. Cancel that, cancel that. Log wall there and there, and that should work out nicely. I'll figure this one out once we've actually cleared this entire area. We might end up having a path through the middle and then another building here for production, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. So we'll let them get crack on with that for the moment, and we'll be back in a little bit. And while I'm thinking about it, I should probably also go ahead and start at the very least crafting some backpacks and potentially quivers as well. So let's queue both of those up because I think that is going to be important for us to get done. So in terms of the backpacks, for right now, I'm only going to make them out of cloth. I would like you to do this until you have 2 in stock, don't count equipped, 51% or higher, normal or higher, and only allowed ingredients, please. Actually, no, we can uncheck that because if we find any, we can go ahead and use them. And then as for the quiver, I would like this to be made out of, I guess we can only do it out of leather. So clear all, and what do we want to make this out of? Light leather, plain leather, or pigskin? Probably pigskin, to be honest. That's probably what we're going to have the most of. I would like you to do this until you have 2 again. Don't count equipped, 51% or higher, normal or higher, and yeah, that should be absolutely fine. There's no choice to choose whether it's only allowed equipment, so that is fine. And we can close that and let them get on with working on them as well, which should hopefully help our people work a little bit more efficiently as they have quivers and backpacks available to them. And for the first time in a long time, we actually had a few idle tribesmen for a little bit there, which is honestly kind of exciting. That means we are getting to a point where we can queue things up and get them done immediately. It looks like most of this cotton is pretty much grown. I'm going to let that grow up. We'll probably end up moving that cotton field to somewhere over here or down here, and that should be okay. I'm going to leave this one as it is for right now because it's all on fertile ground. But with that wall pretty much constructed and our base a lot more secure than it used to be, I think we are going to leave the episode there. If you guys have enjoyed the episode, make sure to go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Consider becoming a Golden Panda member if you would like your name in the game. But until next time, happy building, happy surviving. Bye guys.